हेलो व्हाट्सअप गाइस एंड कैसे हैं आप सभी लोग। आज के फिर से नए वीडियो पे आपका स्वागत है। एंड हम लोग हमारे सी कोर्स के रनवे में हैं। जिस तरीके से आप लोगों ने देख लिया है कि हम लोगों ने जो सी लैंग्वेज की 4 से 5 कोर्सेस वीडियोस जो है अपलोड कर ली है। एंड आज का जो वीडियो होने वाली है ये हमारे इनपुट आउटपुट स्टेटमेंट्स के बारे में होने वाली है। और आज की वीडियो में हम लोग लर्न कर रहे होंगे कि इनपुट आउटपुट स्टेटमेंट्स को कैसे हम समझे हमारे सी प्रोग्रामिंग में, क्योंकि ये बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कि एक्चुअल में एक मशीन जो है वर्क करती है डिपेंडिंग एक इनपुट एंड आउटपुट के डिपेंड में ही। जैसे आप कुछ इनपुट देते हैं एक मशीन को एंड वो आपको कुछ आउटपुट को जनरेट करके दे रही होती है। तो इसी चीज़ को आज जो हम लोग समझने वाले हैं हमारे कुछ प्रोग्राम्स और कुछ इलस्ट्रेशंस के द्वारा जो कि हम लोगों ने इसमें दिया हुआ है। बट उससे पहले मैं आपको एक चीज़ अपडेट करना चाहूँगा कि गाइज व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड इज, हमने कल क्या वीडियो में बोला भी था कि बहुत सारे हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो हमारे फ्रेंड्स हैं, वो सभी के सभी ज़्यादा साउथ इंडियन से है और मोस्ट ऑफ द जो मेजॉरिटी है वो साउथ इंडिया से है। तो आई विश कि हम लोग जो है आज से जो क्लास को जो इंग्लिश में कर रहे होंगे, जिससे कि बहुत ज़्यादा लोग जो इसका एक्सेस ईजिली ले सके। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट द क्लास एंड वी आर ऑन टू द स्क्रीन. And you can see the banner today's and understanding IO statements. Here IO doesn't mean anything. It is just input and output statements. Let's understand the input and output statements, dosto. So what actually I wanted to say is many of us actually don't know the input output statements clearly because I haven't yet started it. But the most common thing here is visible that yesterday we have talked about the standard library, that is stdio.io.h, which is actually a standard header file where all the input output and other functions which are available, which are inbuilt functions or library functions we can say. And we are also going to discuss about the other functions as well. But before that, let's understand the input output statement, which are as a functions of standard library functions. So let's get to the next slide to understand this. So let us see the contents. As we have just completed yesterday's class, the writing the first C program, and also we have gone through the understanding the code. Even we have just reached to the third part of the basics, where we are going to understand the input and output statements as well, and then we will be understanding variables and constants. And the later videos we will be going to the C tokens, where we will be discussing the data types and data structures as well, and logic building at the last. So let's go into the deep concentrations of the third part, where we are discussing about the input and output statements, friends. So let's go into it. So here, as we have just gone through the yesterday's program which we have written in the C language, you can observe it. It is in a C language where we have just included the header files. We have yesterday we have just gone through it, that how we will what is that include means, what does this int main means. We have just discussed yesterday. Let us understand what does this printf statement actually says. As we have just said yesterday, that is to something to print, something to display, something to output. Let's understand the concept of output and input statements. Firstly, we will be understanding the output statements, and later in our journey we will be understanding the scanf, that is an input statement in C language. In language to language, the syntax changes, the words, the keywords changes, but the main theme doesn't change. Let's get into it. Let's understand the concept of an output statement, friends. Actually, an output statement basically is nothing but it's a statement or a keyword that helps us to output something to the user. Let's understand with an example, with a cool example. Let us imagine that I have given you a task. As being you are on a computer, and I have given you a task that to make me a coffee. What will be the things you will be doing out? You will be taking out some coffee, you will be taking out milk, you will be taking out gas out, and you will be just doing some process of cooking, and then you will be and the end you will be generating me a cup of coffee, and you will be giving to me. This is an example where you will be understanding the concept of output statements. As we have given few things to give an output as a coffee. I have got a coffee here, you can observe, that is an output. Actually doing these whole processes at an end, we give a result, that is an output, and these things can be done easily in C programming. Let us understand the concept of output statements in our program. Here if you see where we have written the printf and Jai Shri Ram, this is a string. Let us understand, let us not go deep into the concept of strings. We will be discussing it in later our videos. But a string is nothing but a collection of characters, where characters are nothing but any type of alphabets, numbers, anything, numerics. whatever symbols maybe. But the main thing we are going to discuss is the printf statement. What actually this printf statement does. The printf statement here does one thing, that is to print out something, to print, that is to display something to the user. Let's understand this in a detail. Let's get into the VS Code for understanding this concept. We will be going back again to this, and here we will be going to the VS Code. Let's open it from the file yesterday we have made, that is C course Sigma. You can observe here. Let's get into it, and this is the first program which we have written. Let's open it with using the show more and open with code, as I have said yesterday. So let's open it out, and here our VS Code is going to open. Yeah guys, this is a little laggy. Okay, it's okay. We have got into the first C program right now, and let's close this thing. Yeah, let's make a course file here. Let's make a course file here. Just we will be discussing, we will keep the file name as i/o.c. yeah, that is nothing but input and output statements, where we have just created our okay, let me just, okay fine, let's create the first input and output statements. Let us just copy the actual code of here and control C. They have got it, and we will be just pasting simply here. Just see, if it is not visible, let me just make it a little larger so that you can easily observe it. Guys, here we have just made an include statement. These are yesterday explained, so I'll not go a little deep into it, but let's understand the concept of printf statement, which is actually an output statement, guys. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, fine. So guys, what actually does the printf statement is, as we have seen, that is a two semicolons are inverted here, and we have written something in this. This is the string. Let us delete this, and let us write something as of you. You can just give me a comment what you actually wanted to. Let us write hello Vishwakarma. This is a statement. Whatever you will be writing out, that will be printing out. Let us actually examine this thing. So as we have written this, let me just check out. Yeah, this is the statement what actually we have written. It doesn't care about the spaces what you have given. The statement will be similar as you have printed. Okay, nothing will be changing out. Okay, let us save this by Control S, and yeah, here we are going to run the code. It is a shortcut, or else you can use, or you can just run it from here. See, if I run it, what actually the output is, see, it is giving the here it is giving out hello Vishakhapatnam, isn't it? It is a terminal where we can get the output. Okay, let us cut this, and I'll show you another example. You can just simply on your keyboard Control Alt and N, Control Alt plus space bar, which will give you the output actually, and this will help you running it. See, Control Alt plus N, which actually helps you run the program, guys, and this will give you a cool output here in this window. See, yeah, hello world, exactly, we got the hello world. Yeah, so this is the thing what actually happens, and yet we have many things. You can also print out whatever you want, like we have given a string, so let us give a number, where I will give my number itself, 60219456569. yeah, so let us see. Okay, let me give the backspace, and this is the save point, and let us run it. Let us run it. Yeah, does it give? Yeah, see, this is giving the output. You can write whatever you want. Let us write one another example. Let me write someone's name here. So let us write Kavya. Yeah, Kavya. So let us save it again, and let's run it. What does it give out? Yeah, see, this is giving an output of Kavya, and these all things are not coming in output, but this is giving the output of Kavya, isn't it? So let's understand that there is no length limit. You can write any much. Like Kavya is a good girl. Okay, no caps, nothing. It doesn't mean you for anything. You can just do anything with that output. Okay, so here see, this is an output. Yeah, got the point? This is so clear, right? So this is the thing what actually happens here, output. And let's get into again to the our yeah, what I would say is, just let's get into again to the our presentation, and Yeah, let's get into the presentation again, and we are back again to the. So you have got the point of this, right? Printf statements. This is an output statement where you can just give your outputs as well as you want. So let's understand the concept of input statements. In C language, we have input statements also, which helps us to take inputs from the user and to generate the output. Actually, inputs are used for generating output, isn't it? So actually, the same thing here goes. As we have seen it in the previous one, where we have took the coffee and milk and including the stove for the fire and all, and then we have cooked up made a coffee right there. So let's understand the thing here. What we have took here, the coffee, the milk and the stove, whatever the accessories we need to generate output, that is a coffee, are all input. Exactly what the things we actually input into the system to provide the task, to perform the task and give us the output, that is a if else thing. Let us think this is a coffee and these things are not yet there. So what do you think of this, that if these things are not available, can we make this coffee? Isn't it? It's not possible, right? So that's the thing. What actually happens here is, with the input we generate output. So let us understand the concept of input in our VS Code, that is our IDE. Let's get into it. Let's get back and let's open our VS Code. Yeah, we are into VS Code and see how can we do a input. That is very easy. I'll explain it, the concept of variables later. Before that, let me just do whatever I do and you just perform the same thing. Okay, so let's see where I have just, what we have done is I have just declared int and a. Okay, yeah, I have given a int and a. This will be discussing later, but just before that, you just understand what we are doing it out. Okay, so let me clear this and go down below and write scan. Okay, see, in VS Code the use is very important, that this will give you a reference, like very easily it will be available in the lower sections. As you write, it will give you the hint, like auto completion thing, which is available in VS Code. That's the reason we use. Or else if you use the old style Turbo C++ compilers which are discontinued, or else any sorts of old compilers like you can Dev C++, these are not that useful. Dev C++ is also one of the good compilers, but I wish you perform these on IDEs. They are good, like looking as a hacker. Yeah, so we have gone with the statement scanf. Okay, so here as we write the same syntax for the printf is similar, as we have given a braces, we have given a 2 semicolons, and now the thing is how we will take the input. See, before taking an input, what we have write, just understand the thing. We are taking an input from the user and we are reading it in a space. Okay, so let's get a input like percentage %d, as I'll make you understand what actually the percentage %d is in later. Before that, let's understand what actually the thing happens here is. See, what the performance actually happening here is, don't get into the things what actually is going on with, but just try to understand that we are taking something from the user and we are printing it. Okay, we are taking something from the user. This statement does one thing, that is it takes input, and with the use of printf, that is the output statement, we will be printing it out, because only input can only take the input but it can't print it out. Okay, so let's do it. The value of its a, right, is, and then we will be writing out the percentage %d. I'll let you know what is the percentage %d and all those things mean actually. So don't focus it on, and we will be doing it out later. So guys, see, this is our program where this thing, the scanf thing, takes the input into the a. Okay, and this thing gives you a input. Let us do it, run it out. Okay, let us save it and run it out. Yeah, when we run it, see, okay, it doesn't give any message. So let's create a message out so that we can understand. So let's write again a printf statement, so that, okay, give the value for a. Yeah, this is the point which are actually don't focus in what actually I'm doing it out. Okay, so let's give it a try. Yeah, this is the thing and this is the ready. Okay, so let's play it out. When we run it, it's giving it okay, let me give it. Yeah, this is the thing it gave me an it's just asked me give the value. See here, you can see it. This is asking me give the value of a. Okay, what we have written is this is the thing first, and I'm going to give it a 5. Okay, I have given it a 5, guys. Oh gosh, what's happening? Okay, I have given it a 5. Okay, I have given it a 5, friends. My num block was locked, so I have given input a 5. See, there is a 5 statement, or else let me give a little longer number, 585. Okay, 585. And when I just click the enter, what happened is very fraction of seconds you can observe that the value of a is 585. See, I have given the same thing here. The value of a is, this is similar, but this is not visible. The percentage d is not visible, but the value of a which I have given here is visible. So we will be understanding this thing concept later. Before that, let's understand the concept of variables that you can easily understand. Then you will be going out to the format specifiers and all those things. So let's get again to the PPT so that we can understand the concept. So as you have gone with the input statements, what actually the performance is, it takes the input from the user and it presents it out with the output statements. Fine. So let's get into the topic of variables, friends. Let's get into the topic of variables. So we are into the variables, friends. So let's understand the concept of variables. Variables in C language or else in any language in a daily life are nothing but a sort of containers. Let's take an example. I think we all have a kitchen in our houses, right? So let's understand. I just wish that one of the day your mom just asked you to bring a sugar from the, or as a salt from the kitchen. You just moved out to the kitchen and you found out a great place where you will be understanding the concept of variables. See, we have many boxes there out there, and you're taking out one of the boxes to find out the sugar. So your mom given a place value that in the third row of the drawer, in the third row, the second box is the sugars box. So you'll just go to the place, you will be finding out the drawer, you will be taking out the second floor, and then you'll be going out to the second container where the sugar is present, and you will be taking it out and you will give to your mom. That's what the process going on. So the same thing happens with the variables. Variables are nothing but it is a place to store value. It is a container actually where the values are stored. It may be a numeric value, it may be a constant value like any sort of string, character, symbol, whatever, but it is a storage place. Okay, it is a container where we can store something, and it depends on the size. Like integer, like as we have defined an int variable, like you can see there. So where it says that it is a type of integer and the container stores only integer values. If it is a type of float, which is we will be understanding these things in a data types later, but let's understand variable is nothing but a container where we will be storing the values. So this is the concept where you can say this is a tiffin box. It's also a variable in our language of C. These are the boxes where it is a salt and pepper, match something, and this is also a container. Fridge is also a container, like different sizes of containers, isn't it? This is a variable. Okay, let's understand the concept of constants. Constants are nothing but the values which are stored in a container are in a variable are called constants. Let's understand. See, we have sugar. Yeah, sugar in a container. The container is a variable. The content in the sugar, that is a sugar, right? Inside the crystals. This is actually the constant. In the salt container is a variable, but the inside the content, what actually the things are present is actually a constant. Let's understand this with the we have done in the prior code. Let's understand it with the prior code what we have done. In this we will be going out to the VS code. See, here I have defined the int. Actually this is a data type which actually tells that the a, here the a is a variable. Okay, a is a variable, so we can write it anything. Let me write a variable. Okay, this is also a variable, but here we need to change it out to the variable. Let's understand. We can write anything. Variable names can be anything, but it has some set of rules that we'll be understanding in the later videos. Okay, so here variable is a container, okay, which stores some value. So where we have done the scanf statement and we have took the value into the variable. You got the point? So the value which we have took into the variable will be stored in it, and the value which we have took that is 585. See here, the 585, that is a constant. Got the point? Got the clear point? The what is constant or what is a variable? Variable is nothing but a storage place where we store constants, and the constant is nothing but the value that we are storing in a container, that is a variable. So let's get again to the concept of our PPT. Yeah, so I think we have got to the point that what actually a contain constant is. So let's make a program to first program to find the sum of two numbers. Sum of two numbers, that is nothing but calculating. Let's build a calculator for us that just performs one task, that it takes in process is nothing but taking input, computer is nothing but takes input, processes it and generates an output, right? So that the same thing we will be doing out here. We will be taking out two variables. Okay, what the thing we will be doing here, we will take two variables. In two variables we will store two values, that is constants, and then we will add them using an operator that is a plus symbol, and then the output what actually comes will be storing it on a third variable. And let's do it. So we are into our VS Code. Let's get into the VS Code, guys. Okay, so before that let's get into the VS Code, and we will be building out a calculator soon. So before that let's create a new file saying that for sum. Okay, so sum dot c. Let's create a file that's sum dot c. Okay, done. So here the sum.c file is created with the C symbol, that is C program. It states that it's a C program. So we will be not working out much, but we will simply just copy it and we will place it in this, because we are not going to have that much of burden. We are coders, we are high level programmers, so we need to do it mentally strong. Okay, so we will be working out a little harder. So see, I'm just erasing this statement, and so we will be going out very basically. So let's create two variables. Okay, int, that is a stating that the input or the variables are of type int, that is this container is only meant for containing the achar, this container is only meant for containing the sugar, this container is only for the salt. So different containers have their different values. We can store anything, but the type what we actually put is different. So the water bottle will be containing only water. Yeah, so that type of thing is here contained. So int is a type of data type that states the variable which are going to insert into should be in that format. So let's give an identifier, that is a name for a variable. So let's understand the concept later, but I'm just giving a brief that identifier is nothing but it is a name for a variable. Got the point? Unique name for a variable. So let's understand. So let me give a comma b. So let's not get into deep knowledge, let's understand it easily. That is number 1. Okay, and again we are going to give int, it's a second variable, that is number 2. Okay, we all know semicolon is nothing but the statement completion. Okay, we have given two values, that is num1 and num2. Okay, and again we need a third variable to output the statement, where we will be outputting the statement. So that will be sum. Okay, let me give the int sum, where the stored value will be placed. Okay, so I'll be printing out in this way. So let's make the program. So firstly let's give a output to the screen, that printf, that we will be inserting that saying give the value of num1 comma num2. We'll be taking out the values for two values. Okay, two variables, num1 and num2, and then we'll be adding it out. Fine, so you got the point, I think so. That what we are going to do, we are simply adding two values. Okay, wait, let me just focus it, because the thing what happening is it's not focusing perfectly. Oh shit, this is not the perfect one. So guys, what actually we are going to do is, we are going to just simply take the values first. Before we have sent a message with using the output statement printf, and now what we are going to do is we are taking the input. How we will be taking it out? It's simple. We are using input statement, that is scanf in particular C language. So let's write scanf and then the braces and then the colons, and then Simple syntax, you remember the previous one. We will be taking out percentage d. Let's understand for present scenario that percentage d takes the input. Okay, again percentage d, and then after the semicolon comma, and we will be giving out ampersand, that is and symbol, and the values of some, sorry, no, the num1 comma and num2. Yeah, so what this statement doing is it's taking the input into the variables. The variables are actually empty, but when we put something, it will be filled with some constants. So at present they are empty. After this statement, it will be fulfilled. Now what we are going to do is we will be doing a statement that how can we add two numbers. It's simple, right? We will be adding it like this. So let's understand what actually the sum will be. Sum, what is the sum is nothing but adding the two numbers. Sum is equals to num1 plus num2, isn't it? Simple, simple. We are adding num1 with num2, and we will be generating the third, what the value we got into the sum, the container of sum. There are three containers. One is having us one number, another having the other number, and the third number is having the both additional number. Like let's understand 5 plus 5. These are two different numbers, and the third sum variable is nothing but the addition of this. That is the 10 number is inside this sum variable. Okay, sum container. So let's output this thing using the printf statement. So we are into this printf statement. Let's understand the concept of printf. We are going to print the value or the sum. We will write the sum of the two variables, the two numbers. Yeah, two numbers is okay. The two numbers is what? Actually, we will write the percentage d here. Percentage d is nothing but giving the value there. The number will be printed at that place, okay, present, but we will later discuss the concept of format specifiers in later videos. So comma, just blankly write the thing what I am happy written. Okay, so, and then you need not to give the ampersand symbol here in the printf statement. It's only meant for scanf statement to take the input, where the what actually that ampersand is doing, I'll explain it later in our upcoming videos, but at present you just blankly do the what thing I am doing it out. Okay, so let's print the statement of sum. What this statement does is it simply takes the two statements and then printf statements giving the output of sum. Okay, so this is the code we have written. Let's make it a little small. Let me just delete this thing. Okay, so this is the statement. Let's save it with Ctrl S, and now we are going to simply run it. Yeah, let's run. Yeah, our program is run for the first time, and we have got the information that give the value of num1 and num2. Yeah, so we will be doing it out. Let's give one number as 12 and other number as 30. Okay, the sum is 42. Yeah, exactly correct. So let's again run the program and let's see for different numbers. Okay, let's understand the concept of 52. Okay, and the other number will be 89. Wow, it's performing well. We have built our first program with a C language, that is a calculator which sums huge numbers. Okay, let's see the huge number format. Let's run it for the huge number. Let me give a huge number value, that is 4, 5 and all, a huge number and a huge number. Wow, it's giving me output of a huge number too. So the drawback of this point of view is we can't add the decimal value points. That is the concept of data types. We'll be discussing it later. Let's understand what actually I'm talking about is the floating values. So if I give the value for 12.3 and okay, fine, let me just do it again. Yeah, so when I give a value for 12.5, see, it's giving me that the sum of the two variables is something 140, because it can't do the sum for the two pointing values like these decimal values. So for that sake we need to understand the concept of what we call it, the concept of floating values. We will be discussing in the concept of data structures. So finally we have done a program of C with two numbers here, and in the later videos we'll be understanding the concepts of other things. So the video is very long now, and we will be understanding the other concepts tomorrow. Till then, take care and understand the concept later. So bye bye.